science room, a library and reading room, a computer lab, music room, and an art room, and a theater and dance room. And the majority of each space has a connection to natural ventilation and natural light through not only persiennas, but also screening. I did also want to focus on sustainable methods and making this as sustainable as possible. I had the luxury of having a very tropical climate, so I thought there's no need for air conditioning. I could just use the natural wind, and it's very close to the water. So everywhere are persiennas, photovoltaic panels. There'll be recycling methods. It's pretty much going to respond to every issue that LEED provides. As far as water efficiency goes, the main attraction in the central courtyard is a retention pool. There'll be a rock wall that will provide kind of like a natural waterfall that will bleed or flow into this pool. And it's all going to be reusable water, rainwater, for the children to have hands-on experience and learn about, and the water features will also combine. Here's some projected details and activity of what I'm hoping for the project to have. Here's the rock waterfall. This is actually from the building court down in San Francisco. Here's a organic market that they have scattered all over Havana right now. My mom actually purchasing. And here is this is the Conservatory of Flowers in San Francisco, which I thought would be great for children to have hands-on experience and learn about how nature works in their local grown plants. And here's an example of a major green roof by Michael Van Stockenberg. It was his case study, and I thought it was great because he added topography to the roof, and that's what I was hoping for my main room up here. And that concludes my presentation. Any questions?
Yes, we will have questions.
I have a question about this side of the building. I'm looking at this, and it looks to me like there's an exterior skin. And this is a clarification question. It's not a criticism at this point. Is there a more solid opaque, and then it looks like there's some sort of screen,
Yes.
and then there's a huge corridor that comes around. And then is the actual occupiable space there, or is it?
Yeah, it's all, this roof is here. So you enter through
Right.
here, and then, yeah, this is all occupiable. These are just playground equipment.
Okay. And the floor below or above?
The floor below is a dance room in here, and then here's a theater and dance room.
Okay.
And the reason why I have that level more enclosed is for more mirrored spaces, and I figured if anything I could ventilate it with fans.
Mm-hmm. Could you talk a little bit about this really interesting drawing here, the layers of green spaces? Just kind of run through that again.
Sure.
Because it starts on the ground and goes all the way up and includes all of the roof.
Correct. Yeah, I wanted to to point out wherever there were green spaces, to show that at every level there is exposure to a green space, whether it's more intimate, like and this balcony right here, for more private use for the classroom, or if they're more public, and that is more represented in the larger scale green spaces. But a few of the rooms have exposure to each private green porch.
Could you talk just a little more about maybe in this drawing how you imagine the roofs being used? I know you've named what would happen up there. You said one's a playground, one's a roof garden, or school garden. The school garden's associated, I'm just sort of paraphrasing, the school garden's associated with the market below.
It can be.
Not that they sell things there, but there's
Right.
a programmatic association between the green
Correct.
goods below and the market above.
Correct.
The interactive roof is more didactic and educational, where they're actually demonstrating things and doing things, et cetera. And then the playground is just a playground.
Correct.
Could you talk a little bit more about the interactive roof and how it might work?
Yes, you enter from the stairwell, and then the path will pretty much be right here in this L shape. And right over here will be the aviary. You'll have a pond for the birds, and what will cover the aviary will be photovoltaic panels and anything that filtrates water as well as light, and have the children to have more hands-on experience of how technology works in that way. There'll be cisterns up here to collect rainwater, and the children will get to learn how exactly that works. I'm not exactly sure what other activities I was hoping to have, but there would be this raised platform to have the view of the ocean and to learn exactly of how the horizon works, and I guess proximity, visual proximity.
So I'm imagining if I see the building from the street, or maybe not from the street, as I move up to the top, that interactive roof really has, for lack of a better word, a whole series of structures and constructions up there. There's the cisterns, there's the aviary pavilion, there's all these things, and they're basically separate things that are built on top.
Mm-hmm.
The other two are not that way. The other two are more sort of straight up horizontal open landscape.
Right.
One probably hard surface, the playground or dirt or something, the other one literally a garden space.
Correct. And the garden spaces are for each classroom to plant their own vegetables and plants.
So does that show up in the elevation, the roof landscape that
Right here,
that Gunderson's talking about? Well, that's the edge, but it
that's
seems
the
like...
edge, but not the actual activity.
Yeah, because you probably would see it more like, if you know the biology building over here, it's very close by Peter Rumpel. There's a landscape of greenhouse elements on the top that's actually pretty interesting. It's very legible, and we know what greenhouses are. We know the forms, the typologies. And even if you don't design in detail, it probably appears as a more urban, is not the right word, but it's a perceptible landscape rather than just a flat green roof.
Right.
Which is, I guess, what the diagram that you borrowed over there at the top is more an indication of that.
Right.
I'm going to take a stab at the two different vocabularies that you have on the model. I want to tell you beforehand that I prefer this one. I know that it isn't skinned and I don't see the elevations, and there's probably going to be enclosure and some of the things that you've talked about here. But I find this side of the project, with its flexibility in the roofscape, to be, and I can sort of imagine what that, with your elevations here, sort of imagine what it would be like with the sort of openings. I guess I'm a little nervous on the other one. It's getting a little too opaque, and those pieces that are cut vertically in it are sort of giving a different character than the things you've been showing here.